Acharya Thakur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya. Om Adhyanathmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratau Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasvapadambojhau Radha Madana Mohanau Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastho Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devau Preshthali Visevyamanav Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshi Bhattatatastithah Karshanvenu Swanair Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunah Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyeva cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today's topic is approaching a spiritual master and the futility of material knowledge, materialistic knowledge. And one of the songs that has been written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, is very instructive in this regard. Philosophically, all the spiritual masters are actually representatives or expansions of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu is Lord Balaram, and he is known as the original spiritual master, Adi Guru. And Lord Balaram expands, and he is extremely merciful to everyone who approaches him. He was even merciful to Duryodhan. He's so merciful. So, of course, everybody knows the story of Jagai and Madhai, about how Nityananda Prabhu saved them. So, we'll sing this song, and then we'll Hare Krishna, Vadan Sundar Prabhu. Please accept my respectful obeisances. Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, please. We are going to sing the song Nitai Pada Kamala. Thank you very much for creating this actual oasis in this desert. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Nitai Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Je Chaya Jagata Jura Je Chaya Jagata Jura Je Chaya Jagata Jura Je Chaya Jagata Jura Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paite Na Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paite Na Drida Kori Dharo Nitar Pai Drida Kori Dharo Nitar Pai Dhari Se sambandha nae ja Dhrita janma gelo tar Se sambandha nae ja Dhrita janma gelo tar Se pashu bodo durachar Se pashu bodo durachar Se pashu bodo durachar Se pashu bodo durachar Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo samsara sukhe Bolo Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo samsara sukhe Vidyakule ki karibe tar Vidyakule ki karibe tar Vidyakule tar Vidyakule ki karibe tar Ahankara mat haya Nitai pada pasariya Ahankara mat haya Nitai pada pasariya Asatya re satya kori mani 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 নিতাইয়ের করুণা হইবে ব্রজে রাধা কৃষ্ণ পাবে নিতাইয়ের করুণা হবে পাবে দৃঢ় করে ধরণী তার পায় দৃঢ় করে ধরণী তার পায় দৃঢ় করে তার পায় দৃঢ় করে ধরণী তার পায় নিতায়ের চরণ সত্য তাহার সেবক নিত্য 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 সদ নিতায় নিতায় পদ সদা করিয়া নিতায় পদ সদা করিয়া নরোত্তম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী নরোত্তম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই বড় সুখী রাখো রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ রাখো রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ নিতাই পদ কমলা কোটি চন্দ্র সুশীতলা নিতাই পদ কমলা শীতলম যে ছায়ায় জগত ঝুরায় যে ছায়ায় জগত ঝুরায় Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Sorry, I was not there today morning. I had a program for Burma Council. They had organized some program for me, so I had to be there. I got late. So we have with us Mahabhagvat Prabhu from Canada. So I first didn't met him actually. I was visiting Austin. That's where Maharaj Ashram is, right? Austin, right? I get confused. I was visiting back in 2008. So I was staying with His Grace and Krishna Das Adhikari Prabhuji's disciple, Abhicharan Prabhu there. So then I got to know about Mahabhagvat Prabhu. One thing I would say is definitely very visionary in the sense he assisted Maharaj to start online preaching. You know, when there was no idea or the scope of online preaching. We know online preaching started from COVID, but Prabhuji had been engaged in online preaching for 15, 20, two decades, almost close to that. I believe he had assisted with creating a platform, giving that scope and all that, and with which Prabhuji's ultimate self-realization course became a viral.
No, I joined the course. It was already existing.
Oh, you joined? Okay.
Yes.
But you were taking care of the course, something?
Yeah, I'm one of the assistants, but it was already there.
Oh, already there, okay. So then he played a vital role in that. Anyways, my sister and brother-in-law is also very closely related to him, connected to him, because they're also disciple of his case and Krishna Das Adhikari Prabhu. And last year he came. I thought it'll be nice if he comes and speak. He's somebody who has had very close association with him, serving both Prabhuji and Mataji closely in various service opportunity. Literally, while staying in Canada, doing his professional life, does a lot of services directly with his spiritual master as well as towards the temple. Anyone who goes from here to Canada, I often ring him up. I said, so and so individual is coming, please take care. So when Nikhil Prabhu and Mother Sona was going, so I pinged them. I said, Prabhu, they both are coming. And they were so happy after meeting them. And it's like, Prabhuji, we don't miss Hinjawadi anymore. We have found our home there. We are very happy and under the shelter of Prabhu. He's taking very nice care. So it's our honor and privilege. Prabhu is here. I requested him to speak something about his relationship. Of course, he has the freedom to speak on whatever he wishes to speak, but because of his years of experiences working very closely, which is not often so easy to work in a proximity, I said, if you can share some of your experiences. I gave him 5-6 points. He replied late night, Prabhu, each of this will need a class. I said, no problem. You take 1 point this year, another point next year. What's a hurry? We are not in hurry. I'm never in hurry about this thing. You take as much as time you want, discuss whatever you want to discuss today. Remaining point for future discussions. Story continue. I believe you're coming once in a year, so come more frequently to have that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Let's chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra to welcome Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much.
Somebody else coming? Your father. Oh, okay. I thought I'll check. Hare Krishna. So we have, okay, we have Prabhu's father also here, and today is his birthday. Ayo! So let's one chant for Prabhuji for his good health and for his association. Once loudly, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with father.
Thank you very much. Okay, dear devotees, how many PhDs in the room? Any PhDs in the room? PhDs? Master's degree holders? 1, 2, we have a few master's degree holders. Okay, how many professional degree holders? Everybody raises their hands now. Okay, all right. So definitely today's topic applies to us because we are very heavy in material knowledge. And in this room. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what is material knowledge, why it's dangerous, and what we should do with it if we have it. I will take the case, the golden case of a person who was very, very heavy in material knowledge and used everything in the service of Krishna is Srila Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami was one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and his brother is Rupa Goswami. We are all Rupanugas. And Rupa Goswami regarded Sanatana Goswami as his spiritual master because he's his elder brother. And Sanatana Goswami's approach to his spiritual master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is very exemplary. And we'll talk about Sanatana Goswami a little bit. We'll talk about his approach and what he said. And we'll see how that applies to us. And then I'll discuss some of the things that Madan Sundar Prabhu has instructed me to speak about. And then we will see if there's questions, comments, etc., etc. Okay? So, we'll be reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But before we read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's traditional to sing this little verse. Okay? So let's do that. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Okay. So, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is a beautiful work of literature. And even if someone does not understand anything about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and the Panchatattva, etc., just on a literary level alone, it's a very beautiful work. Who does not have a full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many sets do you have, Prabhu? Okay, we need 10 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which everybody needs to take home today. All of you can definitely afford it. Okay, it's a wonderful work. Please trust me on this. You will definitely relish it and you will continue to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita all your life and develop tremendous affection for the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita as a result of reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Okay, so Sanatana Goswami was a minister in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah of Bengal. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Naranam Naradipam, which means that among the men, among the people, I am the king. It doesn't mean that every king is Krishna, but the power of the king represents the power of Krishna. If there's no king, then the power of the government, you cannot really cross the government in most places. You won't get away with it. So that power, that insurmountable power, is the power of Krishna. Okay, whether they use it for Krishna or not, that's a different matter, but that power is coming from Krishna. So because both Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were very much aware of the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, they accepted the service of Nawab Hussain Shah, even though he was a Muslim king, Pathan king, as the arrangement of Krishna, because he happens to be the government in that land, and they are not interested in fighting. They are not Kshatriyas in that sense. So they were kind of forced into the service. They didn't have a choice. It's like, in the modern world, in the IT world, employment is by will, correct? So it's at will. So the employer can let go of you if they want to let go of you, or you can let go of the job if you want to let go of the job. You can give them a notice period, whatever your contract says, and then you can leave the job, right? So it's at will. But at the time of Nawab Hussain Shah and these other kings, etc., employment was not by will. Huh? So if the king tells you that you must do this, you either do it or you die. You have only two choices. So since it's better to live and fight another day, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami chose to accept the employment. Now, they were not ordinary employees, they were very highly privileged employees. So they had, like, the wealth of Rupa Goswami was equivalent to a boatload of gold coins. Who has a boatload of gold coins here? Everybody living in Hinjawadi, just barely managed to pay your mortgages, right? My Guru Maharaj says, job. You know what job means? Job. It's an acronym actually. Job means just over broke. Because they keep you addicted to the paycheck month after month after month, right? Those of you who have escaped the paycheck know what it was like, and those who are on the paycheck knows what it's like. They just give you just enough that you are just one step above broke, above Kangal, basically, just above broke job. So they were working, but it was not. Rupa and Sanatana Goswami's job was not like that. They had saved a boatload of gold coins. So I calculated with some approximations, etc., that their total wealth in today's dollars, US dollars, would equal approximately $500 billion. Okay, today's dollars. That was their wealth of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So they were not ordinary employees. They were very privileged people. So Sanatana Goswami was well versed in Sanskrit, in Persian, in Arabic. He was well versed in the science of making deities and temples, Vastu Shastra. How many of us can make temples and deities? Right? They were well versed in the art of they were experts in gemology. They knew the art of diplomacy and contracts. They were very good negotiators because they were ministers. They were very good negotiators. They were expert in valuation of different kinds. They were expert in identifying the nature of a man, so perfect HR professionals. They really knew what this person is from inside, not HR. They hire a person and 3 months later, no fit, let go. Right? No, not that kind of thing. They were very expert. They were experts in mathematics, in astronomy, experts in so many subject matters. They were like masters. And about them it is said that Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipunau, Saddharma Samsthapakau, Lokanam Hitakarinau, Tribhuvane, Manyau Sharanyakaru, Vande Rupa Sanatanau, Ragujagau, Sri Jiva Gopalakau. So, even before they were initiated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were experts in the scriptures. And not just the Vedic scriptures, they were experts in the Quran. They were experts in the scriptures of the Western world, basically, like other older scriptures from the Western world. So they knew a lot. But because they had accepted the employment of a Muslim king, they were excommunicated from the Brahmin community that they were born in. They were born in a Saraswat Brahmin community. The same Saraswat Brahmin community exists also in Konkan. And if you have met any Saraswat Brahmins, you know how orthodox and what kind of natures they have. So they were part of this community, but they were excommunicated from this. And they were even renamed Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. Sanatana Goswami was called Sakar Malik. And that was their situation. When they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them permission to let go of their worldly responsibilities and go to Vrindavan to write the... So our whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta is based on the writings of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Especially Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami, but also Sanatana Goswami, etc. And the other Goswamis as well. So they were that was their expertise level. So when Rupa Goswami left the service of the Nawab, then Sanatana Goswami also felt like he wanted to leave. But the Nawab would not let him go. It's not at will, remember? So he does what every good devotee does. He applied for sick leave. Okay? When there's a festival coming up, devotees are sick. So he applied for sick leave for a long time, extended period of time he was on sick leave. And Sanatana Goswami was in ecstasy in his village, listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam. He was doing Bhagavad Katha with his dear associates, other advanced devotees, like-minded people. And the king was really, really missing him in the court. First of all, Rupa Goswami is missing, now Sanatana Goswami also is missing. And the king really relied on them. Kshatriyas rely on the brain power of the Brahmanas in order to function. They need advisors to see what is to be done, how problems can be solved, etc. When key people are missing, then it becomes very difficult for a leader. When an executive CEO doesn't have all of their advisors, then CEO doesn't know what to do, what can be done. So he sent his personal doctor. The king sent his personal doctor to take care of Sanatana Goswami. Just remember, he was not interested in the welfare of Sanatana Goswami. He was just like, this fellow is missing. Just somehow other cure him and bring him back to the court. I need him here. And then the Qazi, the doctor, went to the home of Sanatana Goswami and he saw that Sanatana Goswami is not sick. After COVID, when people were pretending to be online, then the employers put in these mouse trackers and keyboard trackers and things like that, right? Just to make sure that people are actually working. And finally, that did not work, so now they're saying, back to office, everybody. So anyways, that was what the Nawab said, back to office now. But the doctor reported that actually he's not sick. He's perfectly all right and he's doing Bhagavad Katha with his friends. Then the Nawab got really angry. Fake sick leave? Again, employment is not at will, so he was thrown in jail. Right? He was imprisoned. And then he said, I'm going to Orissa. Why don't you come with me? And Sanatana Goswami, by now, he had already gotten the sanction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was honest with him. He says, well, if you imprison me, I cannot do anything about it. Krishna has given you the power to imprison me. If you want to kill me, go ahead and kill me if you have to. but I'm not going to Orissa with you because your business is to give pain to others. So you're going to Orissa only to give pain to other people, other living entities. So I'm not going with you anymore. So he said, okay, I'll come back and deal with you. In the meantime, you remain in jail. So he went to Orissa. So Sanatana Goswami started, so he got a particular letter from Rupa Goswami. Now, I will read you this letter and you tell me what you can fathom from this letter, okay? The letter goes like this. Yadupate kva gata mathura puri raghupate kva gato tarako shala iti vichintya kurushvamana sthiram nasadidam jagat ityavadharaya. The translation, in case we don't know Sanskrit, is where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking the universe is not eternal. This is a letter from Rupa Goswami to Sanatana Goswami. Okay? This is the letter that was received. You couldn't send a letter with an actual message because the letter would have been read by so many people and vetted by so many people before it reaches Sanatana Goswami. So Rupa Goswami is sending a message to Sanatana Goswami through this letter that at least I haven't understood the message itself, but Sanatana Goswami understood. So he said, Patrapaya Sanatana Anandita Haila Yavan Rakshak Pasha Kahite La Gila. When Sanatana Goswami received this note from Rupa Goswami, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who was a meat eater, and spoke as follows. Now, from this letter, you can see what Sanatana Goswami has understood. He is saying this to the jailer, to the jail superintendent. He is saying this. Tumi ek jinda pir mahabhagyavan kitaba Quran shastre ache tomar dhyan. He's saying this. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jailkeeper, sir, dear sir, you are a saintly person. Jinda pir means living saint. You are a living saint. Sanatana Goswami is a minister, okay? So he knows how to talk to people. You are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures such as Quran and similar books. And then Sanatana Goswami is saying something. From this letter, he has detected this. Eka bandi chhade jadi nija dharma dekhiya samsara haite tare mukta karen gosaya. He said, if one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Sanatana Goswami in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Sanatana Goswami is speaking from the transcendental platform. He's saying, release the person from material bondage. The jailer thinks, this fellow wants to get out of jail. Which is true. Sanatana Goswami does want to get out of jail. And then he says, Sanatana Goswami, I won't read all of it. Previously I have done much good for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me. Sanatana Goswami has helped the jailer make a lot of money in the past. It's like that. Business is like that. I have helped you make money. You help me make money. Or you help me in some way. I owe you, right? That's how it is. So now Sanatana Goswami is talking business. He says, Panchasahasra mudra tume karo angikar punya artha dui labha haibe tomar. He says, now Sanatana Goswami is speaking the language of the jail superintendent. He's saying, here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profits as well. Thus, you will profit in two ways simultaneously. He's saying, 5,000 gold coins. Okay? Now, the jailer says, I am okay to release you, even without taking any money. No, now, it's good thing that you have offered me some money, but I would have released you, but I am afraid of the government, he says. Okay, the jailer is like, what will happen if the king comes back? Sanatan is such a astute person. Look at him, saying, there is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, in the sense he has gone to make war, Nawab might die, in the war. They're not sitting in the back. They're fighting on the horseback. They're on the horseback in the front of the battle, not like modern day leaders where they're sitting in the tent somewhere safely and the poor soldiers are dying on the front, right? Not like that. It's like, there is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that he's giving him an alibi. Like he's saying, Sanatan went to pass stool near the bank of the Ganges. As soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in. Tell him, I looked for a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles. And therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves. He's dead. Sanatana is dead. Right? He's gone. There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become. Now, remember who he's talking to? He's talking to a Muslim jail superintendent. So he's saying, Dara Vesha Haya Ami Makkah Kev Jaiba. He's saying, I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Makkah. Sanatana Goswami said that 5,000 is not enough for this fellow. Mind was not satisfied. Then he said, okay, 7,000. Okay, 7,000. And then, now the deal was done. 7,000 is sufficient for him to take the risk of releasing Sanatan. 7,000 gold coins is sufficient. When the meat eater saw the coins, or saw the promise of the coins rather, he knew he's a man of his word. He was attracted to them. He agreed. That night he cut Sanatan's shackles and he let him cross the Ganges. He crossed the Ganges. And then he went on further and further and he met another man. He met his servant. He took his servant and went through he wanted to cross the forest. He could not go by the highway because the Nawab's men will find him, The dogs will be there, the search party will come and he'll be caught again. And this time he'll be definitely put to death. So he cannot be found after escaping from the jail. So he took his servant, the servant, without following the instruction of his master, carried some gold coins with him in the pocket. He took some gold coins with him. You're going on a trip, better take some money, the servant thought. So he took some money and Sanatan and the servant both would have been killed that night when they met a particular person and they asked him for their help. Because the person, it was detected that they have money by a very smart astrologer. There is no such astrologers today, so don't worry with them. Don't bother with them. They detected that this person has 8 gold coins. Who can detect that kind of stuff, right? So, but anyways, Sanatana Goswami said to his servant, give him all the gold coins right now. Because the jailer required 7,000 gold coins. This fellow is willing to kill for 7. Right? So the different prices of different people are there in the world, right? Somebody will cheat for 1 crore rupees. Somebody will cheat for 1,000 rupees also, depending on their price. Everybody has a price, So, anyways, he traveled through this whole thing. He let Ishan, his servant, go, and he traveled alone, and he reached Prayag, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. And there in Prayag, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recognized him, even though nobody else did. He said, there's a Vaishnava outside, please bring him inside. His servant went outside, looked everywhere. No Vaishnava, sir. No Vaishnava anywhere. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, you will find a man who looks like a Muslim mendicant, like a Daravesh. He's dressed in Muslim clothes with a beard and long hair and everything. You bring him in. He's actually the person I'm looking for. And okay, the servant brought him in. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed him, his servant, to clean him up, shaved up and give him some clothes. And, and there's all this wonderful pastime that happens. Now, Sanatana Goswami has approached his disciple, he has come to his spiritual master. This is what he is saying. तबे सनातन प्रभुर चरण धरिया दैन्य विनती करे दंते तृणलैया. Putting a straw in his mouth and bowing down, Sanatana Goswami clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly spoke as follows. We are talking about approaching the spiritual master. Sanatana Goswami is a scholar, who knows architecture and gemology and diplomacy and contracts and Arabic and Persian and Sanskrit and who knows all of these things, right? I don't know this, but maybe there is somebody here. But anyways, you may know 1 or 2 of these things, but Sanatan was a master at all of these things, okay? So he said, this is what he said. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20, text 99, okay? Nicha jati, nicha sangi, patita adham, kuvishaya kupe padi, Gonainu Janam. Sanatana Goswami said, I was born in a low family and my associates are all low-class men. I myself am fallen and am the lowest of men. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. This is what Sanatana Goswami is saying. Okay? Now let's examine this for a moment. It was introduced that I was born in a Madhva Vaishnava family. When I met my spiritual master, 2004, I was thinking that I'm born in a Brahmin family. This man here, running the Ultimate Self-Realization course, is born in an American family. What can he teach me? So, I'm telling you this to just let you know how not to approach a spiritual master by my personal example. Because it took me then 7 years to recover from that offense by the time I was finally initiated. Because I made that offense of thinking, Gurushu Naramati, Vaishnave Jati Buddhi, Arche Shilado, Naraki. These things are hellish. So I had to remain in hellish life for 7 years before I was initiated by my Guru Maharaj, just for making this offense of thinking what this man, American man, can teach me. That's what I was thinking. अभी भी कहते हैं. Now also they say, ये कब से गुरु बन गया? You know, they look at a white man or a black man or a Chinese man like Bhanu Swami, and they say, ये कब से गुरु बन गया? Huh? But look at what Sanatana Goswami is doing. Sanatana Goswami was born in a Saraswat Brahmin family. He was a scholar. A scholar that unimaginable for most of us. You know, that kind of scholarship. But this is what he's saying. Why was he saying that? By the way, Nietzsche Sanghi, low-class men. Now, we might think I'm not low-class man. You know, I don't eat meat. I don't consume alcohol. I don't do these things. But how many of us here are employees of software companies? Okay. Who are our customers? Our customers are killers of cows. They are not just eaters of meat. They are organizers of slaughterhouses where millions of cows are killed every day. In America alone, up to 1 million cows are killed every day. We are their customers. We shake hands with them. We eat their food. Okay? They are giving us our salaries. So, we should not think that we are something great. We are worse than Sanatana Goswami. Worse. Much, 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 much worse. Right? On a daily basis, we are flattering these people and so on. Okay? I'm telling this at the risk of so many things, but you should understand what is our position. In the scripture, it is said, right? What is it said? The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, their duties are to be self-sufficient. Anybody who is dependent on a salary, according to scripture, is already a Shudra. Already. It doesn't matter what kind of family you might be born in. If you accept a salary, you're a Shudra. Fundamentally. We should understand that. Okay? We should not feel proud about this, about where we come from and what we do, etc., etc. And then he's saying, Apanara hita hita kichu nai jani, gramya vyavhare pandita tai satyamani. Srila Prabhupada paraphrases these two lines. He says, the next line also. So in this particular verse, it is, I do not know what is beneficial for me or what is detrimental. Nonetheless, in ordinary dealings, people consider me a learned scholar, and I'm also thinking of myself as such. And the next verse is really important, because I don't know about everybody else, but definitely, even at that point when I met my spiritual master, I didn't realize that I didn't know this, and I was not asking this question. Text 102 from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that same chapter, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. Ke ami kene amay jare tapatraya, iha nahi jani kemana hita hai. Right? This is what he's saying. Who am I? Why do the threefold miseries always give me trouble? If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? If I know who I am, and if I know what is my destination, then I know what is good for me, isn't it? Right? When I first came to Toronto, I didn't know how you give addresses. You know, in India, you give addresses. You have an address, 500 MG Road, right? And then ahead of the address, it will be opposite to State Bank of India, behind such and such a temple, you know, above such and such a place. So you have like a lot of descriptive information about every address. But I had to go to some address, let's say 475 Eglinton Avenue. And I got off asked somebody, how do I go to 475 Eglinton Avenue? I asked somebody. And the person looked at me like I was an idiot, because I was. And they said, east or west? And I said, that I don't know. Then he said, oh, then you can go this way or this way, and walked away. No, Indians are helpful. They will ask you which office you are going to, what do you want to do, what is your work. And that fellow is like, you want to go to 475 Eglinton Avenue, east or west? I don't know. He's not asking me further questions like, you want to go this, which office you want to go? I wanted to go get my social insurance number, When you go to Canada, you need to do this. In 2003, I was trying to get my social insurance number. And then, so the person could have asked, which office are you going to? Oh, you're going to social insurance number office. Okay, Service Canada. Okay, it's in this way, if he knows, for example. In India, they will do that. Kahan ja rahe ho aap? Huh? Oh, acha. They will call two other people. Tumhe pata hai, Tech Mahindra ka office kahan hai yahan par? In the Western countries, they won't do that. Which way are you going? East or west? I don't know. Then this way or this way? And walked away. I mean, go and check if it's east or west. If you don't know the address, what can I do for you? Right? So anyways, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what is your goal, then how do you know what is good for you, right? So if I don't know, then what is the use? Most of us don't know who we are. We don't know that Mama Yamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanadana. We don't know we are part and parcel of Krishna. We don't feel embarrassed that we have to struggle for food in this world. Even the dog on the street is not struggling for food. And we are struggling for food. I ask people, how many years did you study? And they say 20 years. When I'm distributing books, how many years did you study? Okay. How much do you work for your food? 40 hours a week. No, most people work 60 hours actually these days. It's a minimum, otherwise you get fired, right? So, but that dog, that bird, the worm, the insect, the fish, none of them are working hard so much like you. So who is superior? After your 20 years of education, you have become worse than a fish. Worse than an ant who's finding food everywhere, right? All of our whole society has been constructed to make us worse than animals. Animals are free. They don't have to do these things, and we have to. So what is our situation? After 20 years of education, sitting there, ratta maro, right? Understand how this works, understand how thermodynamics works. Who uses thermodynamics in your daily lives? We all have to go through this nonsense, right? Fluid mechanics, truss. अरे कंप्यूटर साइंस सीख रहा हूँ, I am learning about trusses. नहीं सीखना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो फेल हो जाओगे भाई. You learn all of these things, and then after that you have to work for 60 hours a week just to get 2 roti. Srila Prabhupada says 2 rotis, 4 rotis, however much you eat, but that is your quota. Just because you earn software engineer salary doesn't mean that you are going to eat more suddenly, or you're going to eat better. In fact, you might eat worse because you don't have any time. One brahmachari in Hyderabad was telling me that he first went to the West with Radheshyam Prabhu for the first time. And so Radheshyam Prabhu had given a list of vegetables that need to be purchased. And this devotee was new. So he brought all frozen vegetables and put it in his freezer. and then this devotee, I forget his name, right? Vaishnav Sharan Prabhu. He asked the devotee, I need to cook for Radheshyam Prabhu. Where are the vegetables? And he opens the freezer and shows him all the way. He says, Radheshyam Prabhu doesn't eat these things, It's not Ayurvedically sound. You cannot eat these things. We need to go to some store and actually buy proper vegetables. And, he was telling me about, it's common in the West, canned beans, canned chana, you don't have, you're making chola, you open up the can, put it into the pot. It's very unhealthy to eat all of that stuff, but that's what we eat as a software engineer, especially if you go to the West. First time we went to Germany, I had some colleagues. There was one boy from Pune also, and he didn't want to eat anything. Dikshit, okay, didn't want to eat anything outside, obviously, and he could not cook. I could cook. My mother had actually taught me how to cook, but he could not cook. So for the 4 weeks that we were there, he was only eating white bread and butter. That was his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He could not trust anything else. Isme kya hai, pata nahi hai. Who knows what is inside this? So, anyways, anytime he would come to my place, he would get some proper food, but otherwise it was very difficult. Anyways, so this is the thing. This is our situation. This is our situation, and we don't know that. साध्य साधन तत्व पूछित ना जानी, कृपा करी सब तत्व कहत अपानी. So he is saying that I don't know what questions I am supposed to ask you, sir. He's saying, I don't know which questions I'm supposed to ask. Sometimes, Srila Prabhupada I was listening to a class by Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada asking, that they ask, in the West, he was saying, they ask strange questions. They ask strange questions, like what is an example of strange questions? Everything came from God, where did God come from? And to Prabhupada, that's like such a foolish question to ask some sadhu. Where did God from? Definition of God is that everything came from God, I'm telling you. And then you're asking me, the next question is, where did God come from? We get all these questions on the street while distributing books and while doing all of these things. So actually, Sanatana Goswami is smart enough to know that he does not know how to ask these questions. What questions to ask. But we go into classes and I was like that, challenging, asking, what is the guarantee that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God? What is the guarantee that Bhagavad Gita was not actually written by some man? I was asking this. It took me 7 years and 600 questions asking my Guru Maharaj because of all my materialistic education. I actually thought that I know everything better than these people. What these shaven-headed jokers know. That's what I was thinking about the brahmachari who was distributed me the Bhagavad Gita. Who is this joker and who has done this to him? 25 years later, he has done that to me. But at that time, I was thinking, who is this fellow and who has done this to him? I don't know who the brahmachari was. I was not smart enough to actually get any contact information and anything. I just took the Bhagavad Gita, threw it in my bag, walked away, thinking that I'm going to find the faults in this Bhagavad Gita and show this fellow. Next time I meet one of these shaven-headed jokers, I will show them. But I am the joker, and they are the smart people, right? So, anyways, that's the thing. How not to approach a spiritual master, you can definitely learn. How to approach spiritual master, you should learn from others. So, anyways, we know what is Sanatana Goswami's stature, his qualification, and we say how he has approached the spiritual master. He's put a Dante Trina. He has it used to be common. You don't do such things now. But there are other ways of showing our humility in front of the spiritual master. So in any rate, we should not go in spiritual master with a mood of humility. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Srila Prabhupada says in many classes, he says, don't ask questions if you are not willing to serve. And don't ask questions in a challenging mood. Because think about it. If you don't trust somebody, will you give them something that you have very valuable? Something that very valuable that you have in your heart, something that you want to share, something you want to disclose. If you cannot trust that person, will you give it to them? Will you share that knowledge with them? No. Even there are scriptures in which Vidya Devi says to Brahmana, be careful who you give me to. Because Vidya is very like a sword, can cut. And if the person is like a surgeon and knows how to use the scalpel, good. Otherwise, you give the knife in the hand of some fool, you don't know what they're going to do with it. So anyways, don't approach a spiritual master in a mood of challenge. It's a complete waste of time. Complete waste of our time, complete waste of their time. Because you approach in a challenging mood, you meet a spiritual master like mine or many such spiritual masters. Like I know disciple, my Shiksha Guru is Rupanuga Prabhu. And he was approaching Gopal Krishna Maharaj in a challenging mood. In the late 1970s, early 80s, he was initiated in 1984. He was asking challenging questions. He comes from his grandparents' parents are disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he came to the West on a scholarship, and he was, a similar thing, but very great Vaishnava, no doubt. But the fact is that we should not approach, it's a complete waste of time to approach spiritual master like that, okay? So, ke ami keno more jare tapatre, gramya vyavahare kare mohe pandit. Like people say, oh, this fellow is a CTO, he has studied this, he has studied this, he has studied this. But when I hear all those things, I see these are all my disqualifications, why I should not have even entered Bhakti. And that's why you see so many apartments, lakhs of people are living here, and there are only so many people here. Because these are all disqualifications for us, Prabhus. Mataji, these are all disqualifications. Material knowledge Jale Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Jada Vidya Mayar Vaibhav, Tumhare bhajane badha. I love that bhajan actually. We won't sing the bhajan, we don't have enough time. But I just wanted to mention this. Vidyar Vilase is the name of the bhajan. So we won't sing it, but I just want to quote some things, okay? Jada Vidya Mayar Vaibhav, Tumhare bhajane badha, moha janamiya, anitya samsare, jivake karahe gadha. We're all like donkeys. You know, we have this material knowledge has been put on our heads, on our shoulders, has made us into donkeys working for 60 hours a week, right? For people. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Se Gadha Hoye. Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is saying, Se Gadha Hoye, Samsarar Boja, Vahino Anek Kal. And he realized this only in his old age. Bardhakke ekhanor shaktir abhave kichu nahi lage bhalo. So he's saying that only in my old age I have realized this. Now, some of the great souls here have realized this in a very young age, even though they had lots of material knowledge. But some of us, it took us a long time to realize this kind of thing, right? So we should remember that. So I will pause there and I will talk about some personal experiences. Is that okay? How much time more do we have, Prabhu? Maximum. So I'll keep it. So I will take another 5, maybe 7 minutes, and then we'll go to questions. Is that okay? 15 minutes, and then questions. Okay, so here's some personal experience, okay? So I met my Guru Maharaj in 2004 when he had come to the temple and he said that I have an e-course. And because I was in front of a laptop the whole day, I thought that this is pretty much the only way that I can consume Krishna consciousness. You know, these fellows walking around on the street singing, I cannot join them. You know, these fellows, I was thinking, these fellows wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I cannot do these kinds of things. You send me an email, I will read the email on my own schedule. That was my thought process, how I started this whole process, okay? So in 2005, again my Guru Maharaj came to Toronto. And this time, I knew that he was coming, but I made other plans to go somewhere else. Because I was, it's like, like if a fish is on the beach, tadpada raha hai, like he's out of the water, and you try to catch hold of it. It's not going to think that you're going to put it back into the water. It will keep moving around, and often because it's a slippery thing, it might slip out of your grasp also and fall back again on the ground. Again try to pick it up, again fall down. So by that time, by 2004, 2005, I knew that meeting these people is a dangerous thing. So even though I knew that he was coming on that particular day, I made other plans to go somewhere else while my Guru Maharaj is in town, right? What a foolish thing. I missed that whole visit. Anyway, I came back and I met very briefly. It was so anyways, somehow or the other, it so happened that even when they were coming to Toronto, they were not staying with me or in the temple. They were staying in the homes of some other devotees who were in Brampton. And since I was the driver, so I had to stay there. So it was like the experience of staying, like, Shrutakirti Prabhu, when he was accompanying Srila Prabhupada. And he would live in a closet. Like, Prabhupada would have a room, and in the room there was a closet, where you put your clothes, all your clothes. Shrutakirti Prabhu used that as his room. Because he had to be available to Prabhupada all the time, and Prabhupada rings his bell, he has to be there. So Shrutakirti Prabhu would basically sleep on the floor of the closet. So I had a similar experience. Gurudev was staying in a particular house, and everybody has their own space in the house. And they would make space for Gurudev and Guru Mata, like one room for Gurudev, one room for Guru Mata. And then they would say, oh, this driver, okay, they would put me in the basement. So in Canada, living in the basement is interesting because it's very cold down there. So anyways, at that time, I was thinking, cannot sleep, might as well get up at 4 o'clock or before 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and chant something or whatever. Because basement is very cold, unpleasant. So you have lived in the basement? Good thing. So for many, so like that, and and what I have realized after so many years of service is that actually spiritual masters don't need our service. They don't. There are thousands of people waiting in a line to serve them. They don't need our service, but we need the service in the sense that we need to serve them so that we can make some advancement. Okay, so many realizations. That was another thing that I noticed was that when I first started serving my Guru Maharaj, I was in a very young body, right? Very young body. But even in that young body, it was hard for me to keep up with these old people. That their pace at which they operate, the rate at which they run, it was very difficult for me to manage. They are sleeping for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they'll say, when they say chalo, you're chalo, right? And my job is to drive. So it's like, I can't fall asleep. When am I going to sleep? When I'm going to, so, and it's like when you're serving your spiritual master, you don't eat until your spiritual master has eaten. So, you have approximately 3 minutes to have, to take prasad. Basically, between the time they wash their hands, then they serve you something. And then when the Guru Maharaj says, chalo, you have to be in the car ready to go, right? You don't have like leisurely, you can't sit down and take prasad or whatever. And if you're alone, maybe you can eat while you're on the go, but your Guru Maharaj is sitting in the back seat. You're not, with one hand, you can't eat, you can't do these things, eating with one hand or whatever. One day, it was a very difficult day when they were still in Brampton, and I had just attended a japa workshop by Bhakti Bhagat Swami. Anybody knows Bhakti Bhagat Swami Maharaj in Vrindavan? One of my primary Shiksha Gurus. He taught me how to chant, he taught me Vaishnava etiquette. He really whipped me into shape. For 10 years, he used to come for 2 months, 3 months at a time to Toronto, and he used to do his famous japa workshops, Namamrita. If anybody has attended, you know what it is. It's something else. Anyway, I can describe the japa workshop in some other time. But he had taught me, this is how you avoid inattentive chanting, okay? So you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. You're in the middle of a round, okay? I still follow that, by the way. If somebody interrupts you in the middle of the round, you don't keep your bead outside like this, talk to them for 2 minutes, and then start chanting where you stopped. No, you drop the round. You start from the beginning. So you're chanting round number 7. Okay, you start chanting round number 7 again. Now, in the middle of that chanting, if you interrupt yourself, for example, you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, and then you see Madan Sundar Prabhu pass by, and you had some message to deliver to him. Hey, Madan Sundar Prabhu, and you deliver the message. You have interrupted yourself. Therefore, you now make up that round which you broke by chanting 2 rounds. Okay? Now, if you're in the middle of that make-up rounds and you interrupt yourself, then you now chant 4 rounds instead of the 1 that you were interrupted yourself in. So, I was very eagerly following this instruction, this shiksha from him. Now, when you are serving your Guru Maharaj, you're the servant, Idhar aao, udhar jao, get this clothes washed, this needs to be ironed. And then, because you're coordinating his program also, people are calling you, and saying, have you started out? When are you starting out? When are you coming? Will Maharaj take prasad? All of these different things are happening. The whole day, I was trying to chant. Whole day. Subah 3:30 se leke, raat ko 10 baje tak. So, and I had not completed my chanting. The whole day I was trying, not completed my chanting. So, then prasadam was being served, and I was quickly in the corner, trying to trying to chant my rounds, trying to. My Guru Maharaj looked at me with great contempt on his face. रात को 10 बजे अभी ये chanting करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, huh? So prasadam was being served. My plate was being made. I'm very eager because whole day I have not eaten properly, right? And prasadam's plate is being served. Somehow I was thinking, abhi ek do round chant kar lunga. I will take prasadam and then I'll complete my chanting. And then Gurudev said, "How many rounds do you have left?" He had great contempt on his face. "How many rounds do you have left?" And because he was like, "How many rounds do you have left?" And I said, "How many rounds have you chanted?" I said, "6, Gurudev." And so you have 10 left. He says, "It's better you don't take prasad. You better chant and go and take rest." Because you won't be able to wake up tomorrow morning. Now I was like, in a young body, when people say you fast, it's like, in an old body, no problem. Fast, no problem. No problem. But in a young body, it's very difficult. And then Guru Mata intervened. People say, many people who know them say that Guru Mata is very heavy. I don't know why they say that. Because she was the one who saved me from that situation. She said, whole day he has been driving you. He had no time to chant. She said that to my Guru. Only she can say like that to Gurudev, right? I said, all right then. Chant 4 rounds, then take prasad. So that was one of the experiences. But the important thing to know is that when you have such services, it's not just when your spiritual master is visiting, but if you have Rath Yatra, Janmashtami, whatever, it's better that you wake up a couple of hours early and complete your rounds than try to chant during the day. So it's very important. So like that, one of the biggest challenges that comes when you're serving your Guru is that you have to really confront your attachments. Because we are attached to so many things. We might be attached to this kind of sadhana and that kind of prasad and this kind of schedule and this kind of thing. Especially if you have been around for some time, you kind of develop certain habits. But when you're serving, you have to put all of that stuff aside. None of your personal thing really matters during that time. And those attachments, like I want to call such and such a person, I want to speak to that, and like you're in a temple congregation community, and people say, "Hare Krishna Prabhu, long time no see," and they want to chat with you and all this stuff. But when you're on duty, you cannot. You have to let go of all these attachments and say, no, I have to go. You have to be rude. You have to sometimes be unseen also. Because if they see you, then they start wanting to chat with you. And it's a very difficult thing for a person who is a little bit social. It's very difficult. So, another, in other situations also, you can get into disputes with other devotees, because you're in a position of, to be honest, like you are in a position of authority when you're with the Guru, when you're with your Guru. You know things that nobody else knows. What is about to happen? What is going to happen? What's the plan? All of these things, and you're in the position of telling anybody to do anything, at that time, because you have like the power of attorney of your Guru at that time. So it's very easy to make offenses during that time, because you can get short, you can get, because you may not even mean that, but it might be perceived like that, that you are very short and you, so it's very important to do that. Also, even when we are with the Guru and when we are with, or any other such exalted personality, the Guru is constantly observing our behavior and how we are interacting with everybody, and they know what is our level of advancement. So once what had happened is, we were in Brampton again for a Sunday feast class in winter, because Gurudev used to come in January, because he was like, I will come when there are no other preachers, so that everybody gets some association. And because nobody wants to come to Toronto in January, trust me, right? Nobody wants to. Minus 25, who wants to come there? Nobody wants to. Everybody's running in the opposite direction. All the Canadians are running to warm places. Which preacher wants to come to Toronto in January? But they used to come until the health deteriorated. And now I'm saying, don't come in January, please. It's very slippery. And devotees who travel a lot, they cannot afford to have a shoe for this and a shoe for that. And, everything is fixed. So they're wearing their, whatever chappals they're wearing everywhere in the world. Same. They don't have the winter shoes. So, so I had parked my car very close to the entrance to the center. It was in a behind the city hall. It was not, they don't, not the temple that they have right now, but it was a temporary place, center. And I had parked the car illegally, okay, on a place where you're not supposed to park, just so that Gurudev and Guru Mata can get into the car easily. And I know that I'm parked for Gurudev and Guru Mata, right? So somebody came behind me. In India, it's like you go around, right? There's no point honking anyways. People will do whatever they'll do. But in Canada, people get angry when you park in a place where you're not supposed to park. So there was a fellow behind who came and parked, came behind my car and started honking loudly. And I was with Guru, right? So I'm fully justified to do whatever I'm doing there. And I got into a fight with this fellow, with this white-bodied gentleman, and I got into a fight with him. And I was still in the, these fights never end. And the fight was still going on when Gurudev and Guru Mata came out. And he didn't say anything. He got into the car. I drove off. And as I'm driving off, he says, so Mahabhagvat made a new friend today. We're constantly observing what our behavior is, like being under a microscope, like constantly. So his point was that, yes, I understand that you are doing this for me, but there was no need for you to get into a fight with that man. You should have adopted a humble, his point was, you should have adopted a humble mood and said, I'm so sorry for inconveniencing you, sir. But I was like, I'm with the Guru. So it was the wrong attitude, okay. So anyways, key lessons and some important things that can happen, okay. When we are with the spiritual masters, or very advanced devotees, and we see them up close and personal, it's very easy to develop a kind of familiarity that leads to contempt when you're with them. Because, it's the famous saying, like, no man is a hero to his valet, right? Because they see that every person puts on his pants one leg at a time, right? So you see some things about the spiritual master that can tempt us to think that maybe this is an ordinary man. But that is Maya. Because not an ordinary man, not an ordinary person at all. The ordinariness is simply a test for us to see how we manage that. So we should be very careful when we see advanced devotees doing apparently ordinary things. It's just a test for us, really, because they are extraordinary in every circumstance. So I'll give you an example of how Krishna conscious a spiritual master is. Okay, so once in 2013, I think, or 2012 or 2013, I don't remember now. We were in a temporary apartment. I won't get into the story of why, but I took my spiritual master up by elevator to the 5th floor where the apartment was, where the goal was to serve them prasadam there and then continue. It was like preaching program, prasadam, preaching program, prasadam, preaching program. It was like that. The whole day was like that, organized. So there was a small stop at our place where we were supposed to serve them prasadam. So, inside the elevators, there are these television screens that show you the news and the weather and whatever, different things that are going on that. So we got into the ground floor. Guru Maharaj lifted up his head and he was looking at the television screen. So it took approximately, I would say 20 seconds to go from the ground floor to the 5th floor, right? And then, when the door opens, it goes ting, right? And then at that moment, during the 20 seconds, my Gurudev said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Because to him, for those 20 seconds, looking at the television screen, he had forgotten Krishna. And I'm thinking, it's like I may remember Krishna for 20 seconds in the whole day, compared to him, when he felt like looking at the television screen for 20 seconds, the weather and the news or whatever might be going on there, caused him to forget Krishna. He was like, when the thing went ting, he took it as a wake-up call, like a reminder. He said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. You know that I don't want to remember this, whatever I've just seen, I want to remember Krishna, like that. So when we have such experiences, another experience I actually was told to me by my mentor, Rupanuga Prabhu, who used to be, sorry, I still say is, it's hard to believe, drive Gopal Krishna Maharaj and be his Sarathi basically in Toronto for 30 plus years. Every time Gopal Krishna Maharaj comes, Rupanuga Prabhu was the and Rupanuga Prabhu is 78, 77, 78 years old now, by the way. Almost same age as Gopal Krishna Maharaj. But he was his driver. He was his servant. So this happened when he was in his 70s. And you can see what the Guru does, right? So Rupanuga Prabhu something happened, with a devotee like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, the plan is never certain because he wants to do everything and meet everybody and give everybody his blessings and everybody his mercy constantly. That is his nature. So therefore, he's always running 4 hours behind schedule, right? And people who don't understand why he's running behind schedule feel, impatient. But anyways, so plans constantly change. And something happened and something was changing. And Rupanuga Prabhu was saying, Guru Maharaj, we can do this and we can do this, we can do that, we can do that. Trying to mitigate a particular situation. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he sits in the front seat with Rupanuga Prabhu in shotgun, basically shotgun position. And he says, Rupanuga, you are not the controller. He's telling a 70-year-old man this, right? So the disciple and the guru relationship never changes. It doesn't matter what age you're at or what. It's not like, in Mayavad, we have a principle that spiritual master is like a ladder. And you're climbing some place. एक बार हम लोग चढ़ गए, उसके बाद लात मार दो. क्या जरूरत है सीढ़ी की ना? चढ़ गए हम लोग, पहुंच गए, ब्रह्मन बन गए हम लोग. But it's not true. Guru remains Guru eternally. Even if you enter the spiritual realm, Guru remains Guru. Okay, so I'll stop here. I think I've finished my time here. There's a lot more, but it's many, many years of fun. And I'm going to meet them again in Thiruvananthapuram on the 15th. So I'm looking forward to that. Questions, comments, concerns, reflections? Oh, wow. They have to go right now? Oh, they have left already. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this wonderful class, Prabhuji. So you said it's very easy to get familiar with the advanced devotee or with the guru that contaminate us So what are the things that with the time you learn, so which we can learn from your experience while having association with the advanced devotee, so we don't get much familiar with them?
Well, the devotees actually do that for us by not keeping us around for too long. That let's say you're with a very advanced devotee and you have a particular service. So they don't let you just hang around there. They will just say, Ho gaya, done, door is closed, you're gone. Because they don't want that familiarity to creep in. Because they are trying to protect us from offenses. So if sometimes Guru might appear like almost like material word for his matlabi. It might appear like that. Ki kaam ho gaya, jao abhi, niklo. What else service you have? Done. You don't just hang around and just, it's like, that's not, usually they don't let us do that. Just for that purpose. Because they don't want us to get very familiar. Any devotees, they're like, the interaction is done and they are on. They move. Right? They don't let us hang around. So that most of the thing comes from them, that they control it, control the amount of association and control the amount of time that you spend with them, etc. And then the other thing is that the person who is the closest assistant or who is responsible for things, etc., like you see from Prabhupada's pastimes also, they get yelled at a lot. They get so much correction, right? So much. That is also to keep them awake. So the person who is closest to the advanced devotee gets the most heat. So you can see from Srila Prabhupada's servants or many other close disciples of Srila Prabhupada, if they cannot guard themselves from that familiarity and contempt, then they will fall away. They will leave. They can't stay in a particular position. Like if somebody is assistant of some very advanced devotee, then they can't. If they are not in that mood, then they cannot stay in that mood for very long. They will fall away. They will go away. They can't take it. So it's actually a reminder for us, or constantly remind ourselves that this is my, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastrai Uktas Tatha Bhavyata Eva Sadbhihi Kintu Prabhorya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. So we constantly remind ourselves that he's not an ordinary person. He's not an ordinary person. And eventually what happens is that we form certain habits. Like with everything else. Like if you want to be very effective in a particular business meeting, for example, you want to form certain habits, right? You have to make sure that you have read the agenda of the meeting. You want to make sure that there are 6 people in the meeting. You want to make sure, isko kya chahiye, isko kya chahiye, isko kya chahiye. What are they looking for from this meeting, right? So if you're prepared in that way, when you enter the meeting, then you can be productive, because then you can करना वही है, लेकिन कन्वे करना है कि तुम्हारा भी हो रहा है भाई, तुम्हारा भी हो रहा है, everything is, all of your goals are being met. Because the sales guy is interested in revenue, the delivery guy is interested in cost, like different people are interested in different things, right? In a business meeting, I'm telling you. So if we remind ourselves that what is the purpose of this particular thing that I'm going to do right now, and make good habits, like Shrutakirti Prabhu was expert, like he knew that he needs to, when he puts Srila Prabhupada's clothes out for him to wear, he knows that he has analyzed that Srila Prabhupada needs 2 buttons open, so that without opening the other buttons, he can put on his kurta without it getting stuck on his head. So Shrutakirti Prabhu, as a servant, has been very carefully observant and has developed a habit. Prabhupada's kurta, 2 buttons. Like that. Like that. So we develop good habits in the service, in which case the mistakes or whatever it is that is inconvenient to the person we are serving does not happen. Like we know that the devotee we are traveling with has some special diet. Okay, so we call advance. We don't let the devotee reach there and find out that they cannot take this prasad because of their health. So we call in advance. So we develop good habits in service with everything, with chanting, with everything, with reading, with everything. We develop good habits, and those habits help us to avoid the problems. Like for example, one common thing that assistants can be tempted to do is, somebody is asking questions, and apparently speaking, Guru is not understanding the question. This happens sometimes. It happened with Srila Prabhupada also. Like, reporter is asking some question, and it appears to a third-party casual observer that Prabhupada is not understanding this person's question and is giving some other answer. But that's not a fact. Prabhupada has understood the question, but he wants to give a particular message to the reporter. So he's repeating a certain thing because he knows that reporter has not understood what I am saying. But if the disciple pipes up and says, actually Prabhupada, what he means is, no, don't do that. So don't volunteer some answer or some gyan in the middle. Unless the Guru asks you, what is he saying? What does he mean? Unless the Guru or the advanced devotee or the senior devotee that we are serving asks us for a particular service, Like, don't kind of think that we are somehow going to intervene in the situation and make it better. I told you apparently contradictory things, right? I told you about Prabhupada's kurta, and told you about not jumping up and um, like being over smart, right? I told you two things, right? The first one is coming from instruction or by careful observation. Prabhupada needs two kurta buttons open so he can put the kurta on. So therefore, I make it into a habit. But the other one, like some disciple jumping in and trying to explain to Prabhupada what the question is, that is not called for. So we should just keep quiet. Even if we are itching to go and say something, just keep quiet. Just hold yourself. Just hold yourself until if the devotee says come in, then we come in. And the same thing applies to like very advanced devotees doing book distribution, or anything. It applies to so many situations. They're doing book distribution. They are trying to distribute a Bhagavatam set to the person, and you jump in with the perfection of yoga. You should say, stop. Stay out of the way, because they are trying to go for the big thing, like two fundraisers are going, senior fundraiser, junior fundraiser. It applies to many situations. Senior fundraiser knows that this person, if everything goes well, will probably give 1 crore. So he is not asking for money at all. He's basically having the conversation. Junior fundraiser has on his diary 19 people more to visit today. But the senior fundraiser knows that this person will give 1 crore, and each of those will give maximum 1 lakh. So he knows that I can spend 3 hours here if I have to. And the junior fundraiser getting, and he knows, just hold on there, because we have a big project here to do, like that. So this kind of situations. Does it help, Prabhu? Okay. Last one.
So thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. So I would like to ask, uh, we are aspiring for, Diksha, suppose. So, and we are also living this material world. So sometimes it might happen that there might be a tendency that we can judge a guru. So how can we avoid that? Not judge a guru. Sometimes happens as, array, because of that, Guru Maharaj did like this, that did like that. So how to avoid it? Because this is also an offense.
See, the best thing is to ask for clarification. Best thing is to ask for clarification. You can say, when this happened, this particular thing happened. So you can ask for clarification, but who you ask for clarification is important. Right? So for example, if you actually have a relationship where you can ask directly, then ask directly. But if you don't have a relationship, then ask a trusted, respected third party who is who doesn't have any agenda. Neither they have, like sometimes it can happen that somebody might have an agenda of some kind. Make sure that they don't have an agenda and they're your well-wisher. This person doesn't have an agenda and he is my well-wisher. Then you ask that person, कि ऐसे हुआ और मुझे ऐसे लगा. So best is to ask and don't keep it inside. नहीं तो वो बढ़ता जाएगा. Then you'll think assumption upon assumption. And finally it becomes a very dangerous situation. No? Make sense? Just ask. Thank you very much. We have run out of time. It's 9:30. So thank you very much, dear devotees. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Hari Ram Mahamantra ki jai. Thank you very much.